My name is Lynn Shoemaker. I wear a couple of hats in this town. One is founding president of Women Organizing for Wilmington, which is 13 years old on Monday. We started as 13 women in my backyard. We quickly grew to 300 on the river when our all-white male county commissioners declined a grant, a 100% unencumbered grant to provide IUDs for women at the health center who were on a waiting list because they couldn't take oral contraceptives for a myriad of reasons. 2 of those county commissioners went on to be elected to House even after making statements like women wouldn't need birth control if they just wouldn't have the sex.
Ted.
Or that women are irresponsible because if they can't take oral contraceptives.
Whoa.
Hello? We are now 16,200. I'm also the president of the Southeastern North Carolina Central Labor Council. We represent 17 labor unions in Southeastern North Carolina and 5 allied unions in Southeastern North Carolina. So unions are alive and thriving in the South. Standing together is more important than it has ever been. But togetherness does not mean everyone. We're having to leave some folks behind who've not yet realized that the reprieve for which they are hoping is not the millionaires and the billionaires who are fleecing our nation in the light of day, but it is us. You and me. We are the Hail Mary. Woo! Do not waste valuable energy and time arguing and debating trolls. You have to leave them behind, and hopefully they will catch up with us and realize that they are one of us and not a millionaire or a billionaire. Nonetheless, we cannot wait for them. We are running out of time to save democracy. It is being dismantled every day. And mark my word, when I say little d democracy, the under and misinformed will hear big D democratic. That is not who we are. We are the American people. We are not defined by a single political party. We are people who work for a living. Continue to boycott. The opposition and the delusion chided us when we said that we were going to boycott. They said that they would spend twice as much to make up for our absence. But boycotting, even the suggestion of it, makes them madder than a wet hen, as my mother would say. And guess what? Tesla stock is down. $100 more a share, and Musk will be forced to liquidate his own stock. Investors are suing Target's board over the negative impact of eliminating DEI policies. Keep it up. Download Goods Unite Us and use it. Put your money where your mouth is. Shop your principles. And if you're in a rural area and your choices are limited, get creative. Reduce your consumerism. If you can't cut it out, reduce it. Employ some clever ideas like making your own laundry detergent. Plant a garden. Share with one another. Swap goods. My family canceled Amazon, and we told them why. Woo! Sokoto House and the Northside Co-op host a free monthly community dinner that feeds the soul, not just the belly. Go to them, be a part of your community, and be together. 3, be the irritant that I know we can be. Be the sand on sunburn. Be the grit in the oyster. Let's make some pearls, sisters, brothers, and kinfolk. Keep writing, keep emailing, and keep calling your local, state, and federal elected officials. Don't let up until they wake up. It doesn't have to always be about the deplorable, illegal, and inhumane acts. Reward those and recognize those who do the right thing, or I should say the correct thing. And don't forget to show love to our allies that we send into that swamp every day to wrangle snakes and grifters and con artists. Continue to show up and speak out at rallies, demonstrations, and protests. You're going to see a lot more of them showing up for you. We are going to have to respond more rapidly than we have been. I know that it felt like an avalanche with the first slew of executive orders, but hold on to your britches, because it's about to speed up. This is how you get loud. This is how you get bigger. And the world is watching, and the world is listening. And we need to be big enough and loud enough to be heard. Yeah. Woo! Patrick is going to video those who speak today. And if you signed up to speak, then that was permission for us to publish you speaking. He turns them into 3-minute vignettes that we can push out on social media to expand the reach from 17,000 plus to 2 million. Woo! If you see one of the vignettes on your social media platforms, like it and share it, repost it. Musk started a made-up department called Doge. Well, so did we. We made one up. It's the Department of People Who Work for a Living. You can Google it, go online, and sign up. You don't have to be in a union to be a part of it. The only thing you have to be is a working person or someone who supports the working people. Woo! That's awesome. On that site, you're going to find professionally vetted information about executive orders, and they're going to be responding to them quickly so that you know the impact it will have on you. There will also be a growing toolkit, and there will be a list of places where you can go to protest, and there's one on Thursday at 11 a.m. if you're not working at that time in front of the downtown post office to save our mail service, because our U.S. mail is not for sale. Also down here we have AFT. If you want to be in a union, that's a good one to join as an associate. You can join for about $5 a month, the cost of a cup of coffee. And since you're boycotting probably Starbucks anyway, why not join AFT? The teachers have always been our helpers, and I do want to give them a shout out in that they filed a lawsuit, and you know there have been a whole bunch of them, and the lawsuits are being filed to slow down the negative impact of these executive orders, but understand their ultimate goal is to make it to the Supreme Court, which is stacked against us. And so we're going to have to stop this before it gets there. AFT's lawsuit, I'm proud to say, has garnered deposition and discovery, which is the first inside peek to Doge that we have really had.
Woo! Power to the people!
So thank you, teachers. And let's say, I'm going to say, we're going to have to lean on the power of the people to stop this. So when I say people, you say power. People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
We have peacekeepers in yellow shirts. If anybody approaches you and wants to argue, don't. Get somebody in a yellow shirt, they'll do it for you. We also have a bucket over here for our peacekeepers. They show up at all of these events. They volunteer to make sure that we are safe. They've been trained to do that. And the only thing they have ever asked for are walkie-talkies. So if you have a couple of extra bucks that you want to throw in the bucket, let's get them some walkie-talkies, because I see a lot of volunteer work in their future. We have voter registration forms at the registration desk. I don't know if you're aware of it, but in North Carolina, the Republicans have introduced a bill that will make registering someone a class 2 misdemeanor. Voter oppression has gone the long road here. So the way it is now, you can have a voter registration drive and sign people up. That won't exist anymore. If this bill passes, you can only tell them where to go and get a registration form and how to fill it out when they get there to that form. And if you are caught registering your neighbor or your daughter or a friend or a colleague, you could be charged with a second-class misdemeanor. Wow. There's an art installation. I'm not going to go in depth about it, but if you stop by there, we have a clothesline for airing your dirty laundry. And we're going to hang on to this. It's a movable installation, and the end goal is to have a clothesline in every county of North Carolina that we connect.
Woo!
Because togetherness is going to save us. There's a petition also at registration for Rouser, which was born out of the first town hall meeting and one of our speakers' speeches. So please stop by, read it, and sign it. We're going to have one of our council members deliver it to Congressman Rouser.
Woo!
We have a timekeeper. I'm going to limit you to 3 minutes because a lot of people have something to say. I have a lot to say, I know, but let's try and be aware of our time. She'll warn you when you have 1 minute left, and then she'll warn you when you have 30 seconds left. And there was one more thing I wanted to say to you. I think it was just leave the park better than we found it.
Yep.
And they don't come when they're invited. So we have big heads over here. And we have little Michael Lee down here. But here's the deal.
Michael Lee needs a name.
They promise not to hear your concerns. They promise not to answer your questions. They promise to do nothing. It is exactly like they are here.
I was worried. She was still into setting up, and I was at 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I can't say that I crafted my speech with care, but I did with heart. So since President Trump has taken office, his policies and administration, including DOGE, have put Americans at risk. The scope of the risk is far and wide because he is attacking and dismantling so many things at once with his wrecking ball methodology. I'm sure I'm not the only American affected and feeling less secure and less optimistic about our family's safety, security, and ability to afford a middle-class lifestyle, while at the same time feeling more restricted, suppressed, and betrayed by our government. These risks include losing financial stability via massive layoffs, recessions, tariffs that will raise the price of goods, insecure markets, his inaction to address the already high costs of groceries and healthcare, the threat to Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, increased national debt while the rich get tax breaks. Another risk is losing security abroad by threatening to take over spaces that do not belong to America, treating the Ukrainian democratic leader with disdain and disrespect while buddying up to Putin, and the outrageous tariffs he is putting on our friends and allies. Another risk is disempowering our Constitution by nullifying the rule of law with his assertion that the executive branch does not have to answer to the ruling of judges. He is suppressing freedom of speech when it doesn't serve him by going after college protesters and attorneys who have tried to hold him accountable. He is censoring what media he allows into the White House. He's threatening our democracy by giving one man, Elon Musk, the keys of power over our country through DOGE, and perhaps more dangerously through contracts with the unchecked power of Starlink. Another risk, losing the safety of our water, air, and land through deregulation and job cuts. Another risk, losing educated Americans through the cuts and potential closures of the Department of Education and the access, support, and standardization it provides nationally. And finally, another risk, losing one of a fundamental safety of America, the freedom to be an individual. The foundation of our country is freedom, not Christianity. We were founded as a nation that intended to end the tyranny of discrimination, and yet this administration threatens this fundamental right. We have already seen states passing laws or trying to pass laws that allow transgender human beings to be discriminated against in housing and employment. Gay marriage is at risk, voter access is at risk, and having a different opinion or expression other than those in power is at risk. Today, I am grateful for the freedom to stand up and speak. Thank you.
America stands at crossroads. Our nation, founded on faith, law, and accountability, is being hijacked by unchecked power and blinded by deception. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are two sides of the same coin. One wields political power without restraint, stripping away government protections, dismantling public services, and undermining democracy without Congress's approval. The other wields financial influence without ethics, manipulating markets, pushing empty promises, and profiting from the destruction of everyday Americans' wealth. Where does it end? We've seen it before. When Trump guts government agencies, he strips the safeguards that protect your family's jobs, your family's health care and freedoms. When Musk inflates and crashes markets on a whim, he robs everyday investors, the hardworking people who trusted his word. And what do they call it? Winning. But my friends, this is not the way of Christ. Jesus did not deceive. He did not manipulate. He did not seek wealth at the expense of the people. He stood for truth and called out corruption. He warned us against false prophets and against those who serve money over morality and power over people. Our founding fathers warned against this. Jefferson spoke of a wall of separation between church and state to protect faith from government corruption. Madison fought against religious control of government because he knew power would twist it into oppression. Washington warned against factions that would divide and manipulate the people. Franklin believed morality did not require religious authority. Adams resisted any state-endorsed church because he knew it would lead to tyranny. And yet today, we watch leaders exploit faith to justify hatred and corruption. The press is being silenced. Government agencies meant to protect the vulnerable are being dismantled. Hatred and division are not just tolerated, but are celebrated. We must act. We must demand accountability. We must protect the institutions that safeguard our freedoms. And above all, we must vote.
V-O-T-E! Vote, vote, vote! V-O-T-E! Vote, vote, vote! You got that? Right. Oh.
V-O-T-E! Vote, vote, vote! V-O-T-E! Vote, vote, vote! V-O-T-E! Vote, vote, vote!
Elaine's gonna need some mittens.
Hello, folks. So glad to see you. We're numbers, and our numbers are going to grow. Who wants to stand up? Who wants to fight up? Who wants to get rid of the folks like these guys hanging in the bushes? We had empty seats for them in February. Now they're so scared they're in the bushes. So, I, like most of you, know what's hit the fan in terms of what's going on in our government. So I don't need to go over that with you. However, I want to mention a couple of things in other places besides Women Organizing for Wilmington, where you can get involved. I was asked to start a group that originated as Biden-Harris, Women for Biden-Harris. Now we are SE, as in Southeast North Carolina Women Forward. How are we going to go? Forward. Okay, you can find us on Facebook. There's a state group, North Carolina Women Forward, and they're on all different kinds of social media, and we have a national group as well. So here's the sign. One of the to-dos, if each one of us did one little thing every day, imagine the impact we would have. One thing is, our Justice Riggs her race for the Supreme Court in North Carolina still hasn't been certified. So one of the things we're doing is calling those 68,000 voters who the awful Republicans, Griffin, who lost by 734 votes, is such a sore loser that he's taking this to the courts. Some of these 68,000 people don't know that their votes, that he's trying to throw out their votes. So there is a website and a location on our Southeast North Carolina Women Forward for how to sign up to call. So do one thing, one little thing. Out loud, please say, when I say go, what one little thing you're going to do.
Postcards!
Phone bank.
Phone bank.
Show up. Talk to neighbors. Talk to friends. And what do we need to do? Vote, vote, vote. Thank you.
Woo! Forward!
Together, not one step back. Forward, together, not one step back. And now we have Marley.
Woo!
Thanks, Ellie. All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Marley Shoemaker Yates. Lynn Shoemaker's daughter, Deb Shoemaker's niece. I'm a Wilmington-born multidisciplinary artist. I have traveled the nation sharing paintbrushes, dance floors, venues, and poems with people of all ethnicities, races, and sexual orientations. I have struggled with my own mental health. I have PTSD. I have seen the darkness with my own eyes, and I have crawled my way back to the light with my head down, my knuckles bloody, and my eyes swollen more than once. The one commonality of every road back to the light has been art, music, poetry, dance, nature, and expression and compassion. I am saying all this to communicate two things. One, you are not alone. These changes that feel out of your control are scary. The way that people talk to each other is heartbreaking. The judgments are infuriating. I constantly keep thinking I feel this anxious fear and force into a devilish obedience by millionaire strangers. I keep wanting to scream into the ocean, hoping it echoes back to Washington, Russia, and everyone in between. I don't know you. Don't steal my thoughts, my money, my freedom, and I pray for my disabled friends. I pray for those on the streets. Secondly, the point of this isn't to say to lay down and take the weight. The other evening, I saw a dear friend of mine bent over helping a man who lives on the streets restring his guitar. That man can go on creating and singing his song, which is the most important song right now. My friend writes songs and films, and musicians and artists documenting what's happening here and now. Documentation is so important because it allows us to spread the message and communicate internationally. I throw paint when I'm angry. Throw some paint. Make a song, write a poem, make it loud. When I want something to change, my hands don't stop moving. My friend plays the harmonica so emphatically you can hear his pain. My sister paints bright images of American human rights activists like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. as a reminder that we can make change. My friend writes loudly on his typewriter poems and stories of a brighter future for us all. My friends of Jerry, the guardian angels, the animals, the fellow travelers, consider this sound coming out of my mouth as a lighthouse lamp using the brightest, longest reaching shine to call for you artists and revolutionists. It is this time to make a change. I'll quote, I'm gonna come back down here because I'm running out of time here, but to reference back to Keith Harington's painting, ignorance equals fear and silence equals death. Not only do we want to live, we as a whole democracy want to enjoy our beautiful country for how beautiful it is. So Blair your Woody Guthrie, let's go, baby.
Hello, everybody.
Darling.
I'm Mike right up at your man, pointed towards you.
Kiss them up.
I'm Darlene Barber, and I live in Wilmington. And I did not write this, but I think it's very important that we all hear it. First they came for communists, and I did not speak out. And I might cry while I'm reading.
It's okay, take your time.
Because I was not a communist. Start over.
You're good.
First they came for First they came for communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew, and I am. Thank you. And then there was no one left to, because I was not a Jew, then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I thought that was an important piece. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. Thank everybody.
Remember that lady and give them hell for her.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Tina Roberts, and I came to Wilmington from Manila, Philippines in 1985. years later, I chose to become an American. And I'd like to speak about just my own experience. For many of you who know, I lived through 10 years of martial law in my country. And when I first came here, even in 1985, I already saw signs of deterioration. Just like our country, the Philippines' constitution originally was patterned from your own. So I saw the signs of tinkering with something here in the state, and nobody paid attention. Because, like the lady said, they didn't care. And then here and there. And for years I've been sounding the alarm. Pay attention to what happens in the States. Pay attention to what happens locally. Because we are the United States of America. And it does affect all of us. So anyway, take care of yourselves. And there's so much, I say that because I've been very stressed out, because to me this is like PTSD, for years now, not just with Trump. This is not just Trump, this is a long time coming. And like the domino effect that I was talking about, something here, something there, and finally, it collapses. So just take care of yourself and choose your battles. And for me, my one advice is the voting rights. If we can't vote for good people, then nothing else matters. So take care of yourselves, and remember, elections have consequences.
She's right that we didn't get here overnight. It took years and years and years and years. But it's not going to be fixed overnight by a chainsaw and a madman destroying it. So, Joan. And then after Joan, we have Cindy.
All right, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Happy St. Patrick's Day! Where are my Irish folks? Raise your hands. My name is Joan Dunn Brennan. How's that for Irish? My family's grandparents immigrated from Ireland in the 1920s. Each of them, the grandfathers, served in the military. Their sons served in the military. Their grandsons served in the military. I choke up because out of two of those grandsons, out of all of those many grandsons, two committed suicide for PTSD. One recently was my twin brother. He has left behind a family of a wonderful woman who immigrated from the Philippines in 1990. My other brother's wife has also immigrated. Why is the word immigration a bad word? We are all immigrants. It hasn't even been 100 years that my family's been here. What is the cutoff point? Our grandparents, our great-grandparents? What is it? You have to be here for 150 years? Donald Trump's his grandparents? Germany. How many of you also?
His wife.
His wives? Wives, yes. So, with that, Erin Go Bra. Germany. All right, now speaking about bras.
For those of us that are seniors, do you remember women's rights? The burning of the bra, 1968? Ladies, we've got some options to get some more attention if people aren't going to show up at the rallies.
Oh, we do.
Okay? By the way, in 1968, that was not for women's rights.
Not at 76.
The 19th Amendment was in 1920. In 1968, that was because of the Miss America pageant, idolizing women. There are words we're not supposed to use anymore. Female, equality, they're on a list. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, guaranteed you will outlive your money. And if you are Alzheimer's, dementia, or anything else like that, you will probably be in a facility. $7.25 an hour, how are we supposed to pay for rising healthcare costs? How are we supposed to retire on minimum? So, veterans, you sacrificed your lives, thank you. We owe you everything. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy Migrants Day.
Hi, my name is Cindy Sue Gallardo. In April of 2024, 2 white buffalo calves were born. In the Native American culture, this represents a warning and a hope. The warning is if we don't honor each other, if we don't honor the planet, if we don't honor the life that we are supposed to live, Mother Earth will not survive and neither will you. The hope is that we are going to be as brothers and sisters, the way we are intended to live together, to help each other, to have freedom and life, love and peace. And these are the good words I have for you today. I come from a proud, hard-working, union-based family. My father, my grandfather, my brothers, my aunts, my uncles. I am here to fight for decency, of fair wages, benefits, and stability for the working class. The millionaires and billionaires and their entitlements of not paying taxes have caused our public schools to be shut down, our teachers to be paid unlivable wages, our roads and our bridges to be ongoing fixed. Child care is a necessity. Free lunch for children is a necessity. Medical benefits is a necessity. This is the pain felt by the working class Americans. The millionaires and the billionaires have no interest in knowing this. But we gather here today in solidarity to fight and to remind them we will take our country back. We want our dues, and no is not an option. Pay your damn taxes.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Sosnowski and I live in Leland. And Elon, if you are watching this video, I'll be glad to send you my address. Please come and get me. I wasn't going to speak today, but then I said to a friend standing over there, no, I'm not going to speak. Speaking is my thing, but I didn't prepare anything today. So in the last 2 minutes, I prepared something.
Yay! Kiss the mic. Get right on that mic.
I am a daughter, a mother, and a very proud nana of a university freshman. I'm also a student of history, and I'm old enough at 73 to recognize the theme here. The theme of dehumanizing the other, of squeezing, threatening, and bullying our educational institutions, of silencing voices, banning dissent. In 1968, we burned our bras. Thank you very much for that segue. We marched for peace. We fought for the right to control our own bodies. The Republican right is trying to take that back, not to the 1970s or 60s, but to before we even had a constitution. So to my peers who are tired of fighting and thought it was our time to rest now, to you, please don't rest, don't stop. Our democracy is at stake. Thank you. And I believe Jeremy is next. Jeremy?
Thank you.
Hello, Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's begin with the 3 best words in the English language. 1, 2, 3. God bless America. My name is Jeremy Vest. I am 39 years old, and I have a disability called Williams syndrome. We have been shamed a lot for how we look and what we stand for, haven't we? Yes. Too much. And we are a community, and we as a community will not take harmful, hurtful, disrespectful comments from anyone, especially that no good, rotten president of the United States. I am proud to be here today to speak as an advocate for the disabled community. Medicaid is very important to me. Medicaid helps keep me healthy and to live more independently in this community. Trump wants to cut Medicaid for the disabled community so we can give tax cuts to the very rich. At some point in life, everyone experiences a disability. You can be born this way, have an accident or an illness, or just live long enough. Hands off Medicaid. Thank you.
This is Tim. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you.
I didn't know this was happening, but I cannot give up the opportunity to grab a microphone and talk about what we need in our schools. And I am so upset, these executive orders that make no sense, that are dehumanizing our people. And so I had to write a letter because now, you know, Senator Michael Lee wants to make sure that DEI is completely out of our schools. And our school board wants DEI out of our schools. Now, I'm just an individual here today. I don't speak for everybody else, but I'm really upset that we have to get rid of our program for advanced learners. Because we can't have that if everybody can't have it. And we've got to get rid of our special education. Because unless we're going to give a nurse to everybody and speech therapy, well, then we can't have that because that's not equal. And I even realized that, you know, with age discrimination, anybody here ever had age discrimination? A few of you maybe? Okay, well that means we can't have discrimination, so every single grade is going to have to be able to teach the exact same thing because we can't teach 8th graders something that the 1st graders can't have. Now, I know you think I'm being a little silly right now, but this is exactly what the executive orders are saying. We have to actually understand that people need different things.
That's right.
Our special education kids are beautiful and heart and loving, and they bring us something that nobody else will bring us. They are our teachers. If we can humble ourselves to hear the message they have. And we have these gifted learners. And we have black children who need to be proud of being black. They need to know their history, and they need to understand where they came from. Sorry, I didn't know there was a time on it.
Oh, yeah.
Am I done? No, I have one more time. Okay, and you've all heard of the American concept of the melting pot, right? In Canada, they have a similar one, but it's called a salad bowl. Because different parts make it all appropriate, right? Everything comes together and helps one another. When the hell are we going to let go of this idea of equality and learn that equity means that we are all important? Thank you so much.
Real quickly before I announce the next person that's speaking, a quote from Toni Morrison. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language, and that is how civilizations heal. Can I please get a Scott Armstrong up here to speak, please?
Woo!
didn't come here to do this, but
Just a mic.
I came here just to participate and be here. But I think something is going under the radar that is super important to the people standing here, which is, in this last budget, a group of people voted specifically. It was an amendment to cut the funding for social justice in this community. It has cost about 35% of budgets for all sorts of social justice groups. It didn't get publicized. It didn't get out in front of us, but it is very much in front of us. The local is going to matter. This is going to really matter to us locally, and nobody has paid attention to it. That's the only reason I'm up here, to bring it to your attention. It was specific. 3 people decided to put this national thought into our local community by blowing up funding for social justice.
City or county?
County. Thank you very much.
Hello, how you guys doing today? Usually I do a poem. I didn't know I was going to speak today. I just wanted to come out here and just see this wonderful crowd that come out here to support America. And this is what's so great, that we all out here today. And I'm glad. Because, you know, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere. Because Donald Trump and Elon Musk act like they just don't care. And you can't pull democracy out of thin air. You can't pull it out of thin air. And guys, it's so wonderful to see everyone out here, because we're going to have to continue to come out here to show them that we are not going to stand for this. We got to continue to move forward. We cannot step back. Thank everyone for coming out here. Thank you so much.
Forward, together, not one step back. Forward, together, not one step back. Woo!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
I'm not sure they can hear you in the UK.
My name is Sharon, and I'm a constituent from Leland, North Carolina. I came back today because I continue to not be able to sit idly while the most corrupt administration in our history is dismantling democracy and the lives of everyday Americans. I have a multitude of concerns, as I'm sure you all do, and I've heard you speak to many of them, but I'm going to speak to 2 others. First, I am concerned that not one of my elected representatives in Congress is standing up for the Constitution, for the rule of law, or constituent concerns. Instead, I hear in the news that we, the people, are paid protesters and activists. But believe me, I know that what we have here today is everyday, working class, middle class citizens, and we are the power. We are fed up with our representatives' inaction. Once again, the party in charge resorts to name-calling because they cannot defend any of their plans. Congressman Rouser, Senators Tillis and Budd, when will you do your job? Second, I have yet to hear any viable explanation as to why unvetted, inexperienced, highly paid DOGE employees need to modify code, break into agencies, attack hard drives, compromise data, and violate the authority given only to Congress. I am here to remind Congress that per the Constitution, you're responsible for appropriating funds for your people and not to let these people dismantle agencies. Again, in the name of transparency, I demand that Elon Musk, Amy Gleason, the Dodge employees who resigned, be brought in to testify before Congress. The American people deserve to know exactly what they are doing. The American people deserve to know why those who resigned felt they were being asked to do unconstitutional things. We want our inspector generals back because they were the true people that would be fighting for against waste and fraud. Continue to make your voices heard at rallies by spending at only the people's places that are in support of us. Call your representatives and donate when you can. We the people must persist as we resist the destruction of our democracy. When will our elected officials join us? Thank you.
All right, I'm Diane Wynn, and I probably wouldn't have volunteered to speak if I knew I was following her. But she talked about how Allison Riggs is not currently a judge because of Jefferson Griffin arguing that 67,000 of us, our votes should be canceled out. I'm one of those 67,000, and I just want you guys to know why. I went down to the Board of Elections, and I said, can I see a copy of my voter registration application, please? They put me off a copy, and my last 4 digits of my Social Security were clearly written. I was afraid maybe they couldn't read it. All right, so it was easy to read. So I was like, all right, so what's the problem? I don't understand. He said, we didn't have Social Security number or driver's license number on this. And she said, well, sometimes when women get married, or they hyphenate their names, or they change their names, it won't be approved by Social Security Administration, or validated, it was the word she used. And I'm like, well, I've never changed my name. What's the problem? She goes, well, some people, it's possible your Social Security card doesn't say Diane Elizabeth Wynn. It's possible it just says Diane E. Wynn. And my parents did get me my Social Security card when I was little and gave it to me when I went to college. So when I got home, I looked at my card, and sure enough, this is the reason he wants to nullify my vote. Because my Social Security card says Diane E. Wynn, and the voter application form, asked for my middle name, and I wrote down Elizabeth. So I'm not the only one. I was privy to hearing about other people who have really, really stupid clerical reasons for being on this list. Their mom gave them a hyphenated first name, and that didn't work. There were 2 people who had both their driver's license number and their Social Security number on it. They were on this list. They have no idea why. I just want you to know that this is crap what Jefferson Griffin is doing. It's total crap.
So I want to just piggyback on that and tell you all that Justice Allison Riggs won her election. And Griffin called for a recount, and she won the recount.
Yes.
So he called for a second recount, and she won the second recount. And it was only then that he wanted to purge 60,000 North Carolinian votes, and only after he learned that the early voters favored Allison Riggs. And now he's hoping to push it straight. He tried to push it straight to the Supreme Court. So this is stealing your vote. And we can't let it happen. And at this point, who in the world would want him sitting on any judicial bench?
Nobody. No.
So Tina's going to say something else, but then we have a petition it will be back at the registration desk in a moment, but Marley's going to share with you what actually is in that and what we are asking of Congressman Rouser. And then we have another speaker.
Yay!
Woo!
speaking about voting and your name, and you've all heard of SAVE, this thing that they're trying to pass, if your name on your license or your passport or your social security is not the same as your birth certificate because you changed it when you married. I fought like crazy, first with the social security and then with the whatever. But my whole name is in my passport, in my social security, and it's a long name. It's Maria Cristina Concepcion Roberts. So my maiden name is Concepcion, of course. There is time, ladies, if you know you can do something about that, and it might take a little money and effort, but please don't let them discount your vote because of something illegal.
All right, I'm going to read this petition that we're trying to send to Rouser here. It'll be down at the check-in table for you to sign. Just want to let you know what you're signing. We, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, remind U.S. House Representative David Rouser that he took the following oath of office. I, David Rouser, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, remind the U.S. House of Representative David Rouser of that oath because we are in unprecedented times. We, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, are witnessing an assault on the constitutional authority of Congress to appropriate funds and create and dismantle agencies. We, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, are witnessing a blatant disregard of the Impoundment Act of 1974, which requires agencies to spend the funds Congress has approved and given them on behalf of we, the people, including the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, and which limits the president's ability to interfere. We, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, are witnessing the President of the United States, pause, allowing unelected, unconfirmed Elon Musk to usurp congressional authority by withholding funds and dismantling agencies by firing employees. And Congressman Rouser, we, the constituents of southeastern North Carolina, are witnessing you and your fellow congressmen and congresswomen be complicit, allowing these violations of the Constitution to continue. We, your constituents in southeastern North Carolina, demand as legal voting citizens the following. 1, reclaim Congress power for appropriations and spending. Stop Elon Musk and his unvetted minions' unfettered access to government IT systems and private data theft, especially IRS tax payment data. Honestly, how do you stand by and allow one man to call for the inhumane termination of employees stationed overseas in unstable foreign countries and leave them on their own to get home? 2, fight for the reinstatement of inspector generals who should be allowed to continue their investigation into Musk's conflict of interest and multi-billion-dollar contracts for SpaceX and Tesla and plans for a payment system for X. 3, do not allow the Trump administration to defy federal court orders. 4, prepare a budget that is for your constituents, the working class citizenry of North Carolina. A budget that does not raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion while giving $4.5 trillion tax cuts to billionaires and corporations. B, a budget that does not require mandatory spending cuts of $1.5 to $2 trillion to Medicaid and SNAP, programs that impact the most vulnerable among us. And 5, fight to reinstate the EPA drinking water standards that were nullified by a recent executive order. Your Cape Fear constituents do not want more PFAs in our water. I'm going to put this back down at the table down there. We're hoping you will sign it. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm from Pender County. My entire family are Republicans.
Several are MAGA, just eat up with it. Every family function we have, politics just does not come up because they know how I feel about it. I used to listen to Fox News now and again before the election so I could understand better why my family thought the way they did. It was just blew my mind that they did. I haven't been able to watch it since the election. I know the day after I was in shock. I don't know about you guys. Highly disappointed.
Still am.
But I feel like I need to do something. I can't sit and be silent.
That's right.
Every Friday at the intersection of Independence Boulevard and Shipyard, we have a protest going. It begins at 3:30 in the afternoon. I think I see a face maybe that was there, I'm not sure. We've got probably 30 or so people that show up for that every Friday.
Wow.
If you can, this is at the intersection of Independence Boulevard and Shipyard.
Near the perfect.
We have, the organizer for that has made up a bunch of signs for us to hold. We got an awful lot of thumbs up, a lot of horn tooting, and we got a lot of middle fingers also.
Get your mittens.
But you know we're getting to them when we see that. Wanted to invite all of you, if you could, bring your signs and join us. It's strength in numbers, and it is something that we can do. 3:30 in the afternoon till 5:30, 6 o'clock. There is a shopping center there called Barclay Commons. Lots of parking over there. So please come. It'll certainly help make your voices heard.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, 30 seconds. I got it. There's no one behind me. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was the last one. I'm sorry.
Inspired somebody.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. But strength in numbers, folks. Thank you so much for coming out today. Bye.
You put it up and I had this screw line in it.
You got to say regenerated coffee.
Hi everyone, I'm Gail. I'm from Wilmington, down here just 3 years. And I'm a walking, almost public service announcement. And like we said, we have to spread the word. And it's brand new. It's thanks Bill.
Tina Turner.
It's 7 weeks. 2 young ladies over their kitchen table decided and have created Indivisible Wilmington. And they're brand new. We're over there. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you'll get all the information. They are having a town meeting next Friday night, and it's Rouser. And you need to be there because it's limited seating. Number 2, if you're not aware, there is a postcard campaign nationally to bury the house, the White House, that is, in postcards giving our frank opinion of Mr. Trump. So you can write a postcard to Donnie and tell him he's fired. I have bought some, so you can come over to our table and we'll put it in the mail on our way out from here. And third, I am pleased to see so many Ukrainian support. If you're not aware of, there is a wonderful organization called ENG, capital E-N-G, lowercase I-N. Takes no time to sign up. The Ukrainian government wants their population to be fluid in English. And all you need to do is you tell them how old, what sex, and how much time you want to give. I have been talking to someone for 1.5 years We we started at an hour working on her English, and now we talk about politics. And it's really important for us to hear their side, but for them to know that the average American is for them. Thank you.
Sonia Patrick.
Woo! Where is she? There she is. Woo! There she is.
She was one of President Biden's favorite people.
Yeah, our favorite. Power. Oh.
Let's hear it for women organizing Wilmington. Let's hear it for my sister from another mother, Lynn Shoemaker. And all the wild women, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. For those that don't know me, my name is Sonia. I'm your sister from another mother. I currently chair the Southeastern region of the National Black Leadership Caucus. And when they come after us, we will resist. When they come after our Medicaid, we will resist. That's right. When they come after our Ukrainian brothers and sisters, we will. Resist. When they come after DEI, we will. Resist. When they come after our immigrant brothers and sisters, we will. Resist. When they come after our women, we will. Resist. When they come after housing and healthcare, we will. Resist. And that's what it's going to take. Public officials make decisions that impact our lives, as we can see. And you can't leave them alone. If you leave them alone, it's like leaving a child in a room with a bunch of matches, and next thing you know, they done burnt the house down.
Yeah, they are burning the house.
And we're not going to sit back as America and take this nonsense that's happening on Pennsylvania Avenue. No. Nobody elected Musk as nothing. And we don't want apartheid over here in the United States. It's time for us to not only show up, it's time for us to boycott. You don't have to be DEI to boycott for DEI. You can start a boycott because of what they're doing to our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. What they're doing with health care, what they're doing with Medicaid. It's time to rise up like never before. We have to show up. And we're not going to pledge to the flag with the exception of Veteran and Memorial Day until they get this fixed. It's time to rise up like never before. And I want you to mark your calendars for the last Saturday of the month at 1898. We're going to have Stop the Coup rally.
What time?
It's going to be 1 o'clock Saturday at 1898. We're going to be standing up for our veterans. Let's hear it for our veterans in the house. When they mess with our veterans, we will. Resist. We will. Resist. It's time to come together like never before to show out and turn out. That's why I love gatherings like these. And these ladies here have been doing this for a long time. And we sent some of these public officials that didn't understand certain things, we sent them home. Gooseby was one of them.
Yeah. Woo! Power to the people.
Power to the people. So I hope to see y'all at the rally. Come together, our Ukrainians, our Hispanic brothers and sisters. It's going to be at the 1898 Memorial, 1308 North 3rd Street at 1 p.m.
Next Saturday.
March the 20th, Saturday after next.
Saturday after next.
The last Saturday of the month, March 29th.
March 29th.
And I hope to see y'all there fired up.
Ready to go!
Fired up!
Ready to go!
Fired up!
Ready to go!
Love y'all.
This year's county budget was cut in the social programs that have been around for 40 years entirely. And it's this year's budget. It's gone. MAGA struck here first. Scalise and the other two put an amendment through the budget process cutting social justice funding. And I didn't make that clear enough. And so how we respond to that are the same challenges everybody's facing here about how do we deal with this problem in our midst. That's all I needed to say. Sorry.
Give him another round. We understood what he was saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a gorgeous, gorgeous day. So we know Mother Nature, she's always on our side. And we're going to turn you loose, but make sure you sign the petition. Make sure that you register so we don't lose contact with you. And then you go out and play. And let me tell you, in April, we're going to have an Easter egg hunt. We're going to be hiding the eggs. So you'll be able, when you come to that town hall meeting, to put a message in some eggs and take them with you, and let's hide them all over the county.
I'm wondering if Rouser is going to be hiding next time, if Ted Budd is going to be hiding next time. Elon Muskrat, do you think he'll show up in an egg? Well, maybe he's laid an egg. And also our illustrious unpresidential person in the White House. So y'all come in April. In the meantime, call our elected officials every day and tell them to do what's right for the American people, not for themselves. And you can email as well.
Be the sand.
And don't forget, if you have a couple extra bucks on you, to stick them over here at the art table in the box to get walkie-talkies for our peacekeepers. They show up at every event to protect us.
Be the sand.
It's a wrap. Be the sand. Be the sand. Be the grit.